Wires, cables, and connectors problem solving. In this video, we'll be covering wires, cables, and connectors, WCC for short, and how it relates to e-bike problem solving. Specifically looking at symptoms, causes, fixes, and flowcharts. Why it matters? Because we want to be able to diagnose and fix WCC in the most efficient way. Prerequisite VODs, just the one on conductors and insulators, wires and cables, and connectors and assembly. These are the two most common symptoms you'll come across as they relate to wires, cables, and connectors. First of all, part or all of the e-bike is not receiving any power, and then the wired components are powered but not transmitting signals to each other. The cause? Either in the cable, it's twisted, cut, sheared, or crimped, or worn, burnt, or there is a mismatch in the wiring itself. And what I mean by that is someone has terminated or attached the wrong wire in the cable to the wrong part of the connector. The connectors themselves, they can be dirty, bent, burnt, or melted, or otherwise damaged. And here's a simple list of fixes you can do. On the cable side, you can just simply re-insulate, or you can cut, replace, and then insulate again, or fully replace. The connector, you can clean the contact or replace it. So let's go into a few examples. Beginning with dirty connectors. Usually the symptom you'll see on an e-bike is the power might intermittently cut out completely from the battery or under a high power load. On our examples here, on the left we've got dirty connectors, and then on the right clean. You can easily clean them with isopropyl alcohol and a cotton bud in most cases. Next we have bent signal pins. In our example here we've got someone who's tried to force a display cable in at the wrong angle and it's bent the pin. As a result of this, the display itself wasn't functioning properly by not showing speed. In other cases it might not even turn on entirely. However, luckily this can be a simple fix. You just simply bend the pin back into shape. If it's a high-go connector, they are relatively robust and shouldn't snap. But make sure before doing so that there is no power coming from the other end. As in, the other end of this connector is not attached to any device that still has power in it or residual power. Broken housing. This is something that is quite rare on connectors, but it's usually as a result of cables being too short or twisted at the handlebars. Here we have a busted brake cutoff sensor, and in a pinch this thing can actually be heat shrinked back together and continue to be used. Otherwise you would have to cut and resolder on a completely new connector for both wires. In either case, you want to make sure that you solve the underlying problem so the cable just doesn't get ripped out again. Then we have corroded pins. This is a connector from a controller which has a few signals that lead towards a display. What's happened here is a whole bunch of moisture has got into this connector, it's been corroded away, and one of these pins is actually snapped off inside the female end of the plug, and it is missing on the male end. Something like this can't really be fixed. You've just got to replace the connector on both sides, or at least the male side, if you can get the pin extracted from the female connector. If you are replacing it, it'd be ideal to do with a more watertight option if you can, but if the pin itself is not actually snapped off and there's just sign of this corrosion, you might just be able to get away with cleaning the connector itself. Shorted pins. This will usually only happen if the mechanic is having a bad day and they try to bend a pin back into place where the other end is still connected with a controller or something that has residual current, therefore creating a short circuit at the pins and basically blowing them all to pieces. Now, that's a pretty specific example. However, you may come across other scenarios where something similar has happened, where the pins have essentially blown apart. And the only option here is to replace the connector. Then we have problems with loose fits. You'll see this almost always on spade connectors on the negative side. What happens if there's too much current going through and the connection is a little bit loose? This causes a whole bunch of high resistance or heat at the connector that results in a bit of melted plastic. This plastic can make the problem worse by seeping into the connector, actually insulating it from the spade. Or in a pretty worst case scenario, it can actually fuse the battery like it did here to the bike. This was a really interesting one to solve. We had to essentially do the equivalent of a crowbar to get this battery off this bike. Luckily there wasn't too much damage done and we could replace the offending parts. So the fixes for this, you've got two options essentially. The temporary option is to basically remove the melted plastic and see if you can bend the female side of the connector in so it's got a better contact with the spade. The other option is just replace the connector entirely. Something that's quite rare but you may come across is when a connector gets very fatigued and the wire insulation breaks away, and this can result in the wires short-circuiting. This is an example from a charger. The whole thing ended up melting. Now, what may surprise you is most fires are actually caused by a scenario like this, not battery cells where everyone thinks they catch on fire all the time. Some cases they do, but it is usually from wires that are short-circuiting and melting the parts around it, which may or may not catch fire. So putting it all together, here's a useful flowchart that you can use, and I've ordered it in sequence to best save you time and money. If you've identified the problem maybe with your wiring, you want to first of all start with this. Is the cable missing? So is it gone entirely, been ripped off, disappeared, cut? If not, you can move down to, is there an exposed conductor? So is part of the insulation been chipped away? Or has it been crushed or crimped? Or has it burnt out from the inside? Or is there strands of the conductor that have been cut or torn? In any of these scenarios, you can move on to the next step, which is either fully replace, re-insulate. With this crush or crimped one, you can check the wire continuity, so make sure that they don't short with each other, and if that's the case, it's still working, you could re-insulate. Or if they have shorted with each other, you'd definitely want to cut out that section and then replace and re-insulate, just like you would with these two. And from there, you want to check if that solves the problem. If you did, great. If not, you want to check the other components or other flow charts because it could be somewhere else. And here's the flow chart for the connectors. So you go through the same process essentially. Is the connector missing? Yes or no? Is it broken or shorted? If so, definitely replace those two. Next step is looking for broken housing. Can you secure and insulate that connector still? If so, you might be right, otherwise move on to replace. Same with the bent contact. Can you bend it back into shape? Great. If not, you may need to replace it. Is there a loose fit or has plastic or something burnt? Can you cut out the plastic and bend the spades back in? If not, you need to replace, otherwise you might be okay. Then finally, is there corrosion or there dirt present? And can it be cleaned? Yes, but if this corrosion actually is a broken contact, then you need to replace it. Then does all of that solve your problem? Yes, great. If not, it may be another component. Click here to watch the next video. It is the best free thing you can do to tell YouTube to support the channel. Otherwise, if you want to do more, check out the links in the description. Thanks for watching.